Is the
So,
overlay?
okay,
Uh,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. Why is there the overlay on the screen?
Uh,
Because of
yeah,
the.
yeah. I was just updating the score, so people should see the score and everything. That's why I put overlay. But now it is removed.
Ah,
The
okay.
game has started, so it is removed.
All right. Oh no, I deleted my builds. You'll have to gather my resources as well.
Yeah, okay, sure. More food for me. Okay, so who would you say is your favorite player or the favorite player here in this matchup?
Um. Well, now we got the open map. As we already heard, um, Faraj is kind of worried about Mongo running, so he actually asked how is he gonna deal with him running if he's gonna run all over the map. Um, I guess that was basically he basically told Mongo how to win here.
Yeah,
So yeah, if I was Mongo, I wouldn't even focus too much on the main fight. I would just make sure he got a good FB, and spread out the units all over half map, and then just take it, like
okay,
block houses everywhere. Maybe
yeah,
even I don't know, build some front. How's it called? Embassies.
yeah, okay,
Because if you create the chaos, it's easy for you and it's very annoying for the enemy because he has to react. He has to balance like the amount of units he chooses to defend with, because
yeah.
if he uses too many, he can lose out on the other sides of the map. And basically, like, you got him dancing by your tune,
Okay.
which is a
So,
nice position to be in.
okay, and would you say that Mongo's experience in supremacy, where you're constantly being challenged to have multiple fights at multiple positions, balancing your unit composition, would help him if he decides to run here, giving him somewhat advantage over Faraj?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
Okay.
But then on the other side, I have no idea how often and how well they've played Russia and how often they've played like um the mirror matchup, because I don't know, you might want to go for helps in a mirror matchup,
Okay.
for example. Yeah. And like I'm very curious to see the start army, because we will have natives, but it's open space, so technically you could actually make a calf start maybe work. Like, depends on how good your
Okay.
opponent is on microing his incas.
So Mongo has decided to check for the extreme point where you can build at sides and decide to put stable on both the sides.
Faraj, you mean? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, Faraj and Mongo has,
Mongo too.
yeah, but he's going for a wall before having a FB, right? So I,
Yeah, I guess it's not that much of a difference, but I personally would also maybe just keep one or two stables outside.
okay, but what do you think is good? I mean, FB ahead of your walls or FB behind your walls? Is
In this case now, to be honest, I would do both. Um,
okay.
I would even consider like here, I would maybe leave some space between the walls so you can actually, like, if I would be the one running, um,
Okay,
I would make like two layers of walls here. Behind
and
that, I
then
would make an FB, and then
okay,
again two layers of walls, and maybe like an artillery foundry and a stable behind that as well. Because
okay,
with Russia, you have to be picky about where to pick your blockhouses,
yeah,
um, because they're basically your towers. You kind of want them to also fight if it's possible. Um,
okay,
and you need to kind of control the map as well. Like you basically just have 7 spots where you can put a barrack, and you need at least 3 of them in your main battle, from my point of view.
okay. So both the players have sent the church card here, and I think the church card for just 2,500 coin gives you all the guard upgrades except the artillery ones, right?
Uh, yeah, but I think that's just a nice extra. I think basically you just take church card because of the start army,
Yes, you get 17 hussars and 9 dragoons as well from the church card.
which is a pretty
Pretty
nice
nice
start army.
overpopulation to start with.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Uh,
now we got,
yeah.
like, I see Faraj building his walls, and he's kind of not paying enough respect to the edges, I think. Um,
Okay.
to be honest, the same goes for Mongo though. Like
Okay.
I personally would, I don't know. I always like to send 1 or 2 Cossacks along the walls, you know, to check if there are any weak points.
Okay.
Like in team games, it's even better because like you always got to check where people connect walls, because that's where they sometimes mess up and 4 layers become just 2 or 1.
Okay.
The same might happen here on the edges if they don't really pay attention. Like I
Yeah.
would wall behind this too.
Yeah. And as we can see here, Faraj has left some space, and these walls are quite messed up or clustered, I would say. And this is particularly a weak point here because he has 2 to 3 walls at the same point. So a single mortar will destroy all the walls and open the space directly into his eco. Now he has got a wall over here, but building walls like this is a very
Yeah, I wouldn't.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mongo has professional walls.
Yeah, and Faraj has not also deleted his pillars, which you usually expect in treaty games.
Yeah. Also, he's a bit messy when it comes to building them. Like I would keep like 1 or 2 villagers on the walls and not
Not,
like 10.
yeah. I would, in this matchup and specifically on this map, I would also maybe build a couple stables in your economy because, like
For
you,
sure, for sure.
yeah, this is a very running map where you have potential to run. So, in case you don't see and enemy manages to get in your base, you can quickly neutralize the threat if you have military buildings there.
Yeah, and you should also use your trade post maybe if any units try to
Yeah,
sneak in back
yes,
there.
exactly. So as we can see, Faraj has made a blockhouse and 2 stables in the back of his economy, while Mongo is just making a stable at the sides, but no blockhouse from him. Uh, do you
Yeah,
think
but he has blockhouses on the edges,
edges as yeah,
and
exactly.
if you look at the bases themselves, like I think Mongo has set up himself a pretty nice base. Maybe the back walls are just, yeah, it's basically open, but
Yeah.
yeah, he kind of, I think he knows that he's gonna be on the offense, and Faraj knows he's gonna be on the defense.
Yes, but I particularly don't like this section of walls here Faraj has built.
No, I don't like that either. I don't like the idols. This is also basically just 2 layers of walls, very easy to get
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
And
So Faraj has basically 9 villages idle now, and yeah.
yeah,
So I'm not sure if Mongo has done his army research or not, but from what I'm seeing is Faraj is currently at 20k coin and Mongo is at 36k coin. So
that's weird. Oh,
yes.
Faraj redisputed his builds. He's heavily on food. He has like 56 on food, which is I think the right call to make in nuts, but 16
Okay,
nuts on
but even
coin is
with
very low.
yeah, but even with 56 villages on food, you have like only 45k food, while Mongo has. Okay, but Faraj
Yeah.
has made a start army here, while Mongo doesn't have an army.
Ah, okay.
Because as you can see here in
But
score
it's
as
still
well,
20k coin is a lot.
yeah, and in score as well, Faraj is like now he's ahead, but a second ago he was, I think, 50 score behind.
That's weird.
I mean, you're
But
re
both players, look, we have this box.
yeah,
We're gonna have this box. Let's see if he decides to make 1 box or 2 boxes out of it. 2 boxes out
okay,
of it. Okay,
okay,
it's gonna be 2 in total and not 3.
okay.
Okay, maybe I'll change my mind and he decided to go. Maybe I have to take back what I said earlier. Maybe Faraj is planning to be on the offense.
Yeah, he has
Um,
spread his army actually all over the map. You can see Hussars are going here, then you have few musketeers here, you have natives here, you have some musketeers here as well.
and this is the point where, from my point of view, scouting is the most important. Like I personally would have like a mortar here and
Okay,
here, shift clicked, so they walk this way, so you can see what's actually happening, and then you
okay.
can choose, does he match this spread out units, or does he just focus on mid and just push hard? And like he has 4 layers of walls, and he can defend when if Farage is gonna get to his base.
Okay.
So yeah, but he hasn't done any scouting, so he has no idea what's happening, and he's also he hasn't made an army. He's not ready on the map.
So I'm still not sure why Mongo has almost 20k coin more than Faraj here, despite having full army. Maybe he has not done some upgrades or anything, but
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see exactly when we can check, can't we? Text completed.
Yeah, I'm checking the text completed here, but as
Yeah, Mongo has done upgrades.
okay,
Maybe has done less upgrades. Maybe he didn't upgrade helps. Maybe Faraj did. I don't
okay.
know.
I'm looking if Faraj has done spies here, but I don't think you get 20k spies in 1v1, which is I think spies are basically 8 to 10k in 1v1.
Oh, he got spies?
I'm looking if he has got spies or not, but no, actually, he has not got spies here. I don't see the spy tech anywhere, and in the chat as well, there is no spy. So I'm not sure why this almost 16k difference here is in the economy. I mean, even if you go for art heavy start and Mongo goes for unit start, still 16k is
Okay,
huge.
look. I know why he has 13 idle villagers. I mean, that's too much.
Okay, but 13 idle villages in 10 minutes.
Okay, most of them are for the FB, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had like in total I guess he had more idols than
Okay, so we will talk about it later. Right now, we should concentrate on fight. And here,
Oh
Opry
yeah.
box is going from Mongo here. So, and this is another box coming here from Faraj, and some Opry is here. And Faraj is quick enough to get a wall, at least half a wall up, but Mongo is going to go in. And I would say these Hussars, which from Hope of Army, should have been somewhere near the base instead of at the far edge of the map.
Oh, he
Because
actually deleted all his wilds to counter this box.
oh, I don't know if this is a good choice here because
No, he should have. Oh.
okay,
The box entered. Let's see if it's gonna be able to. It should be able to get one factory at least.
yeah, okay, he missed a shot here, but I think this factor will easily go down here. But Faraj is having a huge military unit population advantage here because he has only about say 40 to 50 villages against Mungo's entire. So if Faraj manages to get into Mungo's base, this could still be a pretty close game in my opinion. Because
If the question is,
if
is he gonna be able to?
he should be using all his natives here to siege the walls instead of stable or killing the explorer here.
Yeah, that's true. And now the natives will get the orbs. I think Mongo's base is just too good.
Yeah, he had 5 layers of.
Yeah, he has idle husk though. That's not good.
Okay.
Okay, Faraj has a lot of. Okay, he's moving his idle units in his base, but he really has to remake builds. If he's not remaking builds now, he's going to be at an even bigger disadvantage.
Yeah. So one of the advantage here I would say is that Mongo has managed to get base up on sides of the map, but Faraj has managed to get a wall up. So I would say he has a more map control and he can just switch sides and keep pressure on Mongo. But
the thing is, like, this wall is up, yes, but also the edge is open, and there are no military buildings there to react.
okay.
So how much value this won't
Yeah.
give after all.
Yeah, I mean, he should have taken a base here, and constantly pressured Mongo from all the sides.
Yes.
When he had the military advantage, like he has almost 50% more military compared to Mongo, but Mongo has managed to take map control of his side, and now this he's being essentially pushed into a straight heads-up fight here, and
You know,
Mongo's economy will simply be large enough to win him this game, I think.
should be,
Should be.
but we see he's low on wood, and he'll have to fix that soon because Russia, especially with forts, is rather wood heavy since you're gonna delete them yourself and rebuild them for 600 wood, which is like a lot.
Yeah.
And he should be using natives also, but yeah, Faraj is he made 5 mortars, which just fell prey to Cossacks because he didn't wall them or make blockhouses close so he can block with
Yeah.
musks.
And I think these 3 mortars are as well running into enemy army. These natives here are going to kill them just easily.
Yep, and Mongols also, he has like lots of pop here, taking control,
Yeah.
setting up an FB on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, Faraj has villagers here, but he's not reacting. He's very focused on the main fight, and that's
Yeah.
basically exactly what we predicted happened.
Yeah. I think Mungo here is very good at multitasking, and that's what is really helping him right now.
Yeah, that's, even though I would not, I don't know, I wouldn't siege walls with halts. I mean, there's not much else to do here, but I would maybe go for the FB.
Yeah, blockhouse. I mean, if Mungo manages to get this FB here instead of the walls, then he's essentially going to push Faraj back right into his base because he will be forced to react since he has only only one wall here.
Exactly, he even is already reacting
Yeah,
since Mongo is full committing up here
and
because of
like
his
yeah,
base advantage. It's just his base. Look, like his base allows him to sit back and react later, or like he gets more time to react because
yeah. This
look what he has to do.
Yeah, these walls are not up, but still Mongo has got 3 layers of wall before Faraj manages to break in. While the last layer of wall for Faraj is down, he quickly managed to get up a wall here though, and
Yeah, that wall was good,
that was yes.
but I might even consider going for the houses, to be honest.
Yeah, because you can easily just pop Faraj here and
it's another task he will have to deal with.
do
You know, he will have
yes,
to rebuild houses, which
yes,
is like if you know you're the faster player, you can always
always.
work with that fact by like giving your enemy lots of little annoying tasks to deal with, like just a couple of units here, some units there, you know.
So Mongo even managed to get forts up, and Faraj is going to use paid arts, but I think this Musk should be able to kill them before they can manage this fort down. And now
Yep.
Mongo managed to use his musketeers to get another fort up, which will go down. But I think it took so long to siege down because he was using Sterlets to siege down, which do not have such good siege potential. Meanwhile, a fight is going on at Mongo's front base as well, and Mongo is now fully reacting. So this is something what Mongo has done especially good. When he had like 3 to 4 layers of walls here, and Faraj was trying to go through them. He used that time he got because of the walls he had made to break into the Faraj's base, which forced Faraj to react back using entire of his army. And now, while Faraj is committed here, Mongo is committed here. So Mongo essentially got his entire front base back. Walls are again back up. So whatever Faraj had gained in so much time using so much resources is all lost now.
Yeah, and we can see also he's not really remaking builds. He has idle military
Yeah,
villagers in his base.
yeah, but he's actually back to 70 population, 70 villages right now.
That's I guess okay. And also the score isn't as bad as I imagined it to be after deleting builds and losing both
Yes,
facts.
yes.
But yet he's in a bad position.
So
now, and you can see he's struggling with all the pressure around the map.
yeah, and he has some idle musketeers which are spotted now. So he had still one hussar alive from the start army, which will go down now. And Mongo is constantly keeping the pressure on Faraj on all sides. As we can see, first he fought here, now he fought here, and now again he's trying to fight here. So Faraj is not exactly comfortable with this play style, I would say. As we can see him, he's struggling a lot here.
Yeah, and okay, Faraj kind of closed the back, but it's still like on this side where the villagers have been shopping. It's
Yes.
like basically it's open. So if Mongo decides to just right click into his echo,
Yeah,
he could get units into there, and yeah, those units are not fighting where they should be.
yeah.
The Strelets are not as really good at sieging.
And he basically used like 50 units and so many mortars here just to take down one or two stable here. Instead, it could have been just 15 gnats or like 20 musketeers. And
Yeah.
the rest of the army could be fighting here, but now he's going to lose his entire forward base. And let's say, even if he manages to stabilize here, Mongo is going to jump to this side of the map and again
Mm-hmm.
pressurize Faraj here. So Mongo has done, I would say, a very good job at keeping Faraj on his toes and
Oh
playing
yes.
a play style where Faraj is not exactly comfortable with. But Mongo, it is like his home base, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, same. To be honest, same goes for last game, just the other way around, I suppose. That was what
Yeah,
Faraj was very comfortable with, basically just keeping the eyes on the fight at all times, and Cold War and artillery war. That was also what he had an edge on. But
yeah,
now, with the open map, and both civs are they're good on the offense. Like Russia is good on the offense and
mm,
defense, like in reacting fast.
yeah,
So it really comes down to APM, I guess,
yeah.
and map
And,
awareness.
yeah, and one of the thing Mongo is actually doing here is slowly and slowly actually taking the map control as well. In
Yep.
his home base. So he is not giving any opportunity for Faraj. Let's say Faraj gets advantage, or he's in a position where he can where he can decide a course of the fight and decides to jump to the side of the map. He's giving Faraj no opportunity here because Mongo's entire half side is now completely walled.
True.
So
And you have another box incoming.
yeah, here it is. So basically, Mongo is
Okay.
dictating how this game is played. And like I was saying, if you build the walls too close, all the walls just die in one hit. This is exactly what happened here. But Faraj was
Yep.
quick to react, and
But
uh,
he's not using Incas. He should use
yeah,
Incas.
he
But
should
they're
use.
blocking off. They're blocking
Yeah,
off quite good.
yeah. The Cossacks managed to block off. Ideally, you should use Inkazia, but Cossacks did just fine job here right now, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I would initially send like 10 Cossacks to block and then some Incas, because then this wouldn't happen. The Incas would be able to actually kill off more of the
Yeah.
orbs.
So I still think about 20 villages are going to go down here. 10 to 15 villages at least are going to go down here for Faraj. And
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be again very huge because he already had deleted 50 villages once, and losing villages again is just going to put a strain on his economy here. And Mungo is leading him by almost 200 points right now.
But it's still, to be honest, the score difference is not as big as I imagined it to be. But now he lost 30 wills, so that hurt a
Yeah,
lot.
that
And he's
so
also committing to the side here,
yeah.
easily defending. Um, yeah, Faraj's attempt to push, and he also did what I suggest to do in a Russia mirror. He upgraded halbs since they're nice to react with.
Yeah. And Faraj is not rebuilding his base. I mean, there was a blockhouse, couple stables here, and they're not being rebuilt here, as we can see. So, in case Mongo decides to push from there, it is going to be hard to react. And
Mm.
Okay, now he's building some here.
He's actually trying to go for TC here. I think that's a bit bold, but since Faraj should have vision.
Hmm. What I would do is like actually get a wall from here, and all the way back to the base. So you can block this entire area with a single wall, and let's say delay the jump if in case Mongo decides to jump. But right
Yeah,
now,
basically you should do what Mongo did with those walls.
yes, exactly.
But they haven't been built yet, so but he's at it, he's at it. I can
Yeah,
see villagers.
although there is no villager here.
Okay, I really wonder why the score gap is not widening quicker though.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the running aspect. I mean, when you are running, you're not actually constantly fighting. You are only making units when you have to respond and where you have to respond. So
That
once you
yeah.
neutralize the threat here, your 50 units are idle for say few seconds or a minute or two. So you don't have to remake those units. So your economy goes up actually.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So I was expecting the gap to actually widen quicker, you know, like to Faraj to
Yeah,
drop quicker and to Mongo to maybe even gain.
yeah.
But he is also an 85 build, so which
Yeah,
is not
yeah,
perfect.
I think he was forced. I think he lost the villagers making wall, or he was forced to delete 10 to 15 villages in order to fight with the additional military population Faraj had here.
No, that's yeah. I don't think he deleted them though. I think they just died, and
Yeah,
he didn't remake them.
yeah, and he's again trying to go here with the threat has been neutralized near Faraj's base. While Faraj is making some advance here, he is fully committed here.
Okay.
Although he just has one block house. Now, what I would like Faraj to do here is maybe get a wall here in order to get his flanks. Get a wall here, and he already has a wall.
Focus on mid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
focus on mid. But for that, he actually has to take control of his flanks as well, because Mongo has 30 Opry here, and he can just kill all the villagers if Faraj doesn't respond. So if Faraj wants to be in his comfort zone, which is fighting heads up, he has to take control of his flanks, which he has not been able to do so far, I would say.
I like the chat like commenting on the run.
Yeah.
Mongo's making how do you pronounce your name? Atsolite, Atsolite. I don't know.
Acolyte.
Acolyte. Yeah, making her proud. No, I mean you gotta work with your advantages. So
Yes. So, in order to boost his economy, Faraj has decided to take both the trading posts here, which are already stagecoach upgrade is done on them.
that's smart.
Yeah.
Many people tend to forget they even
Yeah.
exist.
So, apart from uh, 25 Nutka infinite shipment, none of them have an infinite shipment. Do you think it is a good idea to keep, let's say, 300 coin or 300 wood or 300 food as in one infinite
Yes,
shipment in
definitely.
with any civilization in treaty, because you just get so many shipments here.
Yeah, definitely. Like when it may depend, you know, if you take if you're like, for example, um, I don't know. Okay, ports in Spain have their 10 units, I guess, but
Yeah.
if you expect the game to go on long, it's always
Okay.
worth it, I guess. Because like with Russia,
Hmm.
pretty often I'm at the point where I don't have those 2k coin to even send the Nutka.
Okay.
So in like many cases, I prefer to just take 300 coin since you can just infinitely ship it, and it's a nice boost
Okay.
for your economy.
Okay.
When I'm Nats, I take wood, I guess,
So,
since in the long game, if there aren't any trees and maybe you've lost a factory, who knows how messy the game was, it's
okay.
always nice to have.
300 wood is your preferred choice of infinite shipment here. As
When
in
I'm
a
playing Nats,
net,
yeah.
yeah. Even with Russia, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Despite
Otherwise, yeah.
despite their wood trickle.
Just, yeah, it does, I mean, it's not enough to sustain,
Oh,
um, if there aren't
So
any trees on the map, like factories aren't enough for Nats either, you
yeah,
know?
so he had some idle population here, idle military, I would say, here as well, and here as well, which is not fighting, and which probably could make a difference in this fight as he's getting pushed back right now.
Yeah, but it's on. He also it's those are just Nutka. He also has musketeers and Cossacks here.
Yes, exactly. Few
Also
Cossacks
units
here.
here.
Yeah,
Um, Incas here.
exactly.
He's
So,
spread out a lot, and I don't think he doesn't seem to be using the idle unit hotkey,
okay,
which is a very nice tool to have in games like this.
yes. So, looking at Mongo's deck, if you were to put 300 infinite wood shipment, what card would you replace it with?
At Mongo's deck,
Yeah,
mm, well, I would take out the infantry siege damage
ransack.
to buildings, yeah.
Okay,
But I guess maybe in a game like this it can be useful, but I didn't see him use petards or grenadiers, so I don't know.
okay,
And another card you don't really need is the second infantry training card, the 25% on any
okay,
Andes or Inca map, because
okay,
you'll have instant musketeers. Your strelets will come out pretty fast, and
okay.
your natives also. So it's not really worth it.
I think I mean, I cannot really explain why Mongo had almost 15 to 20k coin advantage at start. But one of the major difference here is Mongo does not have cheaper native card while Faraj has. So if I'm
Oh,
yeah,
okay, that
so
explains a lot.
yeah, so if I'm right here, please correct me if I'm not. On Treaty Patch, the cheaper native card actually gives you the champion upgrade as well, which is the BB card on Re, I would say. Is that right?
Hmm. Um, I didn't know that. I thought just sending the card,
Or or is
sending the
it?
native card.
Yeah,
I
okay,
think
okay,
like
yeah, yeah, you're right. Just sending native card gives you a champion.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
but yeah, it's a very messy fight, and Pop is running behind Pop. Like
Yeah. So
if
as
you look at this,
yeah. So Mongo is also actually down on food right now, although he has lot amount of coin. Both players are fairly even on food, and I would say food is one of the primary resource for Russia, right? Because their most units cost a lot amount of food compared to coin and wood.
um, in nets, I agree. Out of nets, it depends. I mean, you basically always want to have more. Like when it's no rush 40, I always have like around 60k food and like 20 to 30k coin.
Yeah.
But yeah, in most cases, it's more food heavy.
So we have Idolame here again, while Mongo has many opry and a lot of siege potential here, but it is effectively void now, and he has 4 to 5 layers of fall before Mongo can get in the base, and sneaking in 4 musketeers to make a fort here.
And I mean,
So
Faraj has still has those 7 idle vills. I mean, it does not look at as too much, but considering he has like 83 vills, it's like close to 10% of his eco, so it's
yeah,
not
and
that less.
when we're looking at it, like 7 villages may not seem much, but when you have them idle for 15 to 20 minutes, then you can
Yeah,
have, like, I don't know, 4 to 5k more resources maybe than your opponent, and
exactly.
which could be game changing in a mirror matchup.
Yeah, especially since one player does not have factories anymore, but
Yeah.
Mongo doesn't have a cheaper native card, which is a pretty tough disadvantage. I think I think that might actually balance out the factories.
Okay, but
I think the reason why Faraj is losing out right now is because of first of all, of course, the Mongo is using his pop a bit more efficient,
okay.
um, and then because of the will difference, like he's still on 82 wills, he should be back on 99. Should have been back like minutes ago.
But my question here is now: do you think that the not having a cheaper native card is really equivalent of not having two factories, because we can see Mungo is barely making any native army here. See here he has Sterlets, then here he has Musketeers and Opry. So he's not making Inca very much unless he's forced to react to his forward base, in which cases we are seeing him making natives. But apart from that, he's not making much natives.
Yeah, I think he isn't because, I mean, I don't know. I still wonder if he intentionally did not take the card or if he just forgot.
Or
Maybe he
just
just took a fort deck, and he
yeah.
didn't have a nat fort deck, and he decided the forts to be like of higher priority. But I don't know. I think, to be honest, it really depends on how you play, because if Faraj fights with natives and makes them count in the mass, like if they like fight effective, he can then he kind of forces Faraj to use them as well. And in that case, I think it's even better to have the no net card than factories, because like the two factories don't produce enough resources to keep up native production, or I don't think they even produce enough to they don't produce the difference, the
Okay.
difference between net card and no net card, because
Okay.
it's like 30% cheaper, and it's a lot of food and wood in the long run. So it basically really just depends on if they are using them or not. Right now, it doesn't seem like Faraj is using them effectively to like pressure.
Yeah.
Not at all. I don't see any Incas anywhere.
Okay.
I just see Mongols pop spread out on the map, actually winning out.
Yeah.
Because this, for example, is like a huge overcommitment. There's like 20 pop, 30 maybe almost in total with this.
Yeah, and he also used 5 petard to take down the fort. So you don't really need much if you're going to take down that fort, right?
Yeah.
And he's not retasking them to a major fight here. So he's not only doing less damage than he can actually do, which is forcing him to make more military units in order to hold Mongo's pressure here. And that is also one of the reason why he's draining right now.
Yeah, exactly. And now he made like 26
Incas here.
Incas at once.
Yeah.
And like whenever you have to spam, it's like when you drop down and pop and you have to spam units to
So that was a
refill. That always
nice
sucks.
hub spam here from Mongo when.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like halves, because they're way more lethal to cavalry than musks are
Yeah. So
in
basically,
this matchup.
yeah. So he had like 20 Opry here, and more than half of them died without doing any damage to Mongo here. That is a
Yep.
huge waste of resources and inefficient use of army, I would say.
But I have yet to see a cannon. That's something I like.
Yeah, Mungo. I think Mungo just made 1 or 2 horse artillery at start, but later on just.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot make a lot of horse artillery or any kind of artillery basically here
In
because
such a in
yeah,
such a messy game. What I like to see is closed walls and mortars, though, because
yeah,
like with them, it's so easy to keep enemies like out and
yeah.
far away. Because
So
basically, what Mongo is doing is he's all the time just fighting with forts. And
yeah,
if Faraj would have base maps a bit like Mongo, it's so easy to just put a few mortars on them and then they're like down.
yeah,
And then they shoot like if Mongo tries to rebuild, they'll get instantly shot, and that's like annoying for
okay.
Mongo if he's on the offense,
Uh,
because he doesn't seem to be able to really break through right now.
Yeah,
But
but Mungo is also like committing on two fronts. He had like 30 to 40 units just right now here, which were killed by Faraj. But what I would like Mungo to do here actually is that he has a good advantage here. Faraj doesn't have a big enough FB here. Maybe get a wall here, block this flank from Faraj, and just go commit fully here because you don't have a base and walls are quite messed up here. It's a straight way into his eco right now if Mongo manages to push Farad back here.
yeah, let's see how it plays out. They seem to both commit to this front now.
Yeah, I would like few villages here getting these flanks for Mongo and maybe a couple more towers in order to get this blockhouse and it's stable here.
Yeah, and it's always nice to clean up the walls like he's doing right now, because
Yeah,
like I prefer to have one mortar doing it or two, but I guess Nutka are fine too as well.
yeah. So he's now going to
And
use petards here to kill the fort. As
yeah, but there won't be enough
yeah, they want
since they got 12k HP.
yeah 12
So
points.
you need wait they deal 2k damage, don't they?
Yeah, they deal 2k damage. So you need 7 petards to kill that fort in one
Yeah,
hit if you want.
and if he actually has a few musks to defend you, need to send at least like 15 to probably get it,
Yeah,
which is not worth.
yeah. So, although we are fighting at a one spot here right now, and running has practically come to end, except few units here and there. Faraj, I don't know if Faraj is going to be able to hold this. He's practically drained on coin now, just 6k and 10k food. While Mongo still has huge amount of resources. There is like 300 points difference. So, uh, about 30k resources is Mongo is leading by 30k resources.
Yeah, if we look at resources though, it's not 30k, it's just 15.
Yeah, okay,
So
15k.
maybe I think he has like the fort upgrades and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, so
he's
more
getting more
points are
upgrades.
invested. So still
He also
50.
has helps.
Yeah. So but 15k is still a huge huge amount of
Yeah, it's
lead here. So he can.
still a huge gap. He
Yeah.
also is he has 93 wills against 76. I don't know why Faraj forgot
And
to just loop
and
up
and he has factories as well. So I'm looking at a
factories as
recalculated
well.
economic. It is like Mungo has 116 villager population, while Faraj at 78.
Mm.
So it's a 35
Yeah,
village, 35 to 40 villager gap here for both the players.
Mongo also took the route and
Yeah,
upgraded it
trading
a
post.
while ago now. He's been
Yeah,
having it for a while. And we can see Faraj really struggling to defend. He's kind of committing here, but it's gonna be the same thing, you know, just the layout of Mongo's
Mongol base
base.
is very good. You can
Yeah,
see,
that's just the way
yeah, he has four walls and then
base has to
still he
be.
has one wall at the back here.
The only thing I would think about is maybe deleting this blockhouse since it's not gonna be of any use
And
anytime soon.
this one as well here.
Yeah, this one as well, since he has like one here. He even has two there. Like, I'm a bit more picky when it comes to blockhouse placement.
Yeah,
But I guess he also has two forts, which he could also start kind of moving up.
yeah. So Faraj managed to get a wall up here and close the gap, which was not exactly close, but minimize the gap, which was directly leading Mongo into his economy. And I think Mongo will manage, sorry, Faraj will manage to stabilize here a bit because Mongo is not making any more military units here.
Yeah,
Instead
he's
he's
committing to the
committing,
defense,
yeah. So,
which is
but
probably the right call, since
yeah, but
there are mortars. But I
I
think
think this was an overcommit here because
yeah, for
uh
sure.
he's
The
not
Cossacks would have been enough.
yeah, and he's not making natives. So making a natives is also probably okay, but having so many musketeers and everything else is probably a little bit of overcommit, and maybe it was like giving up the position here, which was really not necessary at this point.
Yeah, I personally also like this is not really an efficient use of orbs.
Yeah.
Like maybe rather have him go this way and take out those military buildings, or like just wall up here and use mortars, since mortars are just so much more efficient.
So what I think is that Mungo was actually pissed that Faraj is coming from front for so many times, and he decided to push him out once and for all and get this wall up now, so that when he's going in for a final push, even if Faraj decides, he will be faced with like 5 to 10 layers of wall, depending on how Mungo walls, and
Yeah, I
he can
guess.
effectively finish off Faraj before Faraj manages to get into Mungo's eco. But
Yeah,
Mungo is
he basically took a step back before jumping in again, which is the right thing to make if you want to keep like map control. But I like Faraj reacting with his foundry. He actually used petards and he's killing the builds, so that's good.
Yeah.
Slowing down Mongo.
Okay.
And the game is like it's I think closer than it should have been after that start.
Yes, I would agree. And Mungo is also somewhat drained on food. I mean, I won't call it drained, but is on 7K now. Well, Faraj is almost out of food and he has only 26 villages, which is not going to help him maintain his military population. So I would say the situation is looking very difficult for Faraj here. It
Yeah,
would,
he has 10 idols, no, 8 idols.
yeah, it would be very difficult to come back from here, in my opinion.
Alright, now he has, like, since he's on 70 villages, 10% of his builds are not
Well,
working,
yeah. So
which is huge.
yeah, so basically you already have like 30 to 40% less villagers compared to your opponent, and out of that 10% are not working. So almost 50% less villagers is what Faraj has.
Mm. I mean, sure, you might be able to get in there, but I don't know, the
Yeah.
damage he wanted to deal has been done from my point of view.
Yeah.
Like, when factories are gone, I don't see why you want to, and if you have an eco advantage, I don't see why you want to get like orbs in the base. I just try to get just military buildings, maybe houses,
Yeah.
and those walls down. Because if you look at this clump of walls, you know, like one mortar shot's gonna damage them all.
Yeah, exactly.
So easy to get down. Same
And
goes
and
to
Faraj doesn't have any resources to keep the military production. So let's say if Mungo goes fully committed at this point, this could potentially be game right now.
yeah. I mean, he got it in his pocket already. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
Which is good because we're gonna have a game 3.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what maps they have vetoed, so we will check after this game. But I think it would be Deccan. I think we will check after this game.
Which is, I guess, okay because it's not as stressful as Endless can be. But it's also not as set up as Orinoco.
Yeah, I think okay, we'll talk about game number 3 after this game is over. So just like here, he sent a mortar, but there was no protection for that, and he just simply lost it. So this is basically wasting resources. And now he is sending 20 to 50, 20 to 30 Opry here, and he's going to clear the entire FB. There are
he's building a fort here, like he's
Cossacks
trying
as well, yeah.
to come from here now, which I personally, I don't know, I think it's the wrong call. He should just maybe take those walls down and set up all over the map, kind of, you know, so you can pressure slowly but surely, like from all points, and kind of corner him, because he already has the map in the way of he has control, you know, and the more resources. Faraj has no food.
Yeah, and this village is now okay. So what I think is that still Faraj is at 1430 to 1450, and you drain completely with European civilization at somewhat 1200, right?
Yeah, he's on church card though, so minus 250. I think Russia goes down to 1150 maybe.
Okay, so Russia completely goes down at 1150. So what I think is that he's about 200 and 250 points above that. So Mongols think that he has some resources left, and Mongol doesn't want to go for a fully committed one-side push, because from the last game, as we can see, Faraj was able to win that. That's why I think it's still trying to run all over the map. He doesn't know that Faraj is out of food.
That's true. But he should somehow be able to tell that he's low on pop.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you see your enemy struggling to keep up pop, you know he's.
Oh, sorry, we missed this, but Mongo is actually low on food as well. He's also struggling with 500 to 800. So while he has 6K coin, and he has economy advantage here, but this game maybe maybe just got somewhat more interesting here. And if Faraj manages to go to back to full 99 villagers, we may have
Which
something different than what we are seeing for the entire game here.
we might. But I don't know why Faraj is not remaking villagers. Like that has to be
I think I
has to be
think
like in the booms kind of scenario. Like you have to develop a mindset where not being full pop on villagers is just, it has to hurt you that so bad that you need to react.
yeah, but I think he's just pressurized so much, and he's probably not, as we can see before game also, he was not sure about running, so he's not basically used to this kind of games, and he's basically is not used to this kind of multitasking. So he's making villages here. Just now I saw 3 villages popping out, but probably not as efficiently as we would like to see them. We also have to know that
True.
we also have to realize that Faraj is low on food here. So, uh,
Even though he kind of recovered now, I mean, 2K is something to work with, but he's still on 160 pop.
yeah,
Even though 30 pop of that should, like 30 pop he's missing should be villagers,
yeah.
which he,
And
unless
wh-
he's producing them.
and one of the
So,
thing no, he's not producing any villages right now. But one of the thing Mongo is, I think, is wasting resources, making so many cavalry and so trying to just operate,
siege walls,
yeah, siege walls with operies. So
even
this is,
Cossacks, it's,
yeah. So this is one of the inefficient use of army, and that is something which has brought the game so close than it should have been. But Faraj right now has 9k coin, but he still has 14 villages on coin, so he has no reasons to have 14 villages on coin right now. In my opinion, he should shift those villages to coin right now.
yeah, 1k coin,
And
less than
9,
1k food, no food. Okay, this is looking grim now though. For
yeah, he managed to get this game pretty close, I would say, because
and
Mong,
long, yeah. I mean, the
yeah,
bugs got in after 2
yeah,
minutes. He's been fighting for no factories now for, yeah, 40 minutes.
yeah, and so this is idle army here, and he's losing whatever army he is. If those musketeers were here, then the starlets would still be alive, because these musketeers would be body blocking the starlets against the Cossacks. But now he's just going to lose the Cossacks and his, oh sorry, starlets. And when these musketeers arrive, he's going to lose the musketeers as well. So this is something you should always have an eye for, I think. I mean, he
This
was,
is the this is I mean, okay, he's super, yeah, I guess he doesn't really have the choice. If you could maybe scrap up the resources to get something going from here, just to relieve some pressure here, so Mongo has to react.
yeah,
That
but
might be. Nah,
yeah,
he's too low on resources. He can't
yeah,
afford that.
he's just he's basically at hovering over 100 food now. So this is very hard.
He's also struggling to keep the base closed.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
pretty close to game now.
yeah, so we should see 1-1 here, in my opinion. But let's see how this figure turns out here.
Do you remember how long the first game went on for?
Oh yeah, it was about 31 to 32 minutes.
Okay, okay.
So some artillery coming in here from Mongo right now. Mongo is committed to fighting at a single place, so it is a good choice for him to have artillery right now. But
It helps to protect him. Let's see how good
yeah,
they
that was
can kill off.
good foresight here from Mongo. Faraj tried to use the flanks. Maybe, yeah, he got one horse artillery, but second one is still alive, and this is going to do a lot of damage to the infantry here. Faraj is practically out of resources, 0 food, 0 coin. He does not even have enough houses to have complete 200 population.
Yeah. Looking grim.
Yes, this is looking very difficult for Faraj here. He needs some miracle here to pull this game off right now.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at Mongo's resources, he also stabilized. He has like enough wood to
Yeah, he
not
has
have
enough
any
food, and
villagers on it.
Yeah,
enough food. Yeah,
but
and
his coin is all very low now.
that's not a problem though because you can just make strelets.
Okay, that's GG from Faraj. So it's a game. Yeah, it's a game.
Yeah,
So
GG.
we are at the end of the game number two, and Mongobillion has managed to win, take the second game here. Oh, okay, I updated the score wrong here. Actually, I gave Mungo the first game, so I'll give Faraj the second game. So it is actually 1-1 right now for Mungo and 1-1 for.
Oh, Faraj is fired up.
Yeah, he has fired up.
He's fired up. I like that. He put up a very good fight though.
Yeah.
He he
So
vetoed under. So okay, so
and
they're gonna play Ori.
Faraj has vetoed Deccan, I think. So this is going to be Orinoco, and this is something of a comfortable zone for Faraj. You're fighting in a single spot,
Mm.
just like we saw in the first game. So
Already accidentally already left the game, but yeah,
okay. So one question I still have is why at the
sure.
starting Mongobillion had 20k more coin compared to Faraj. Uh,
Well, Farash immediately switched off coin. Like he had like just like I don't know 12 or 16 villagers on coin, but the huge gap, I don't know. Did he you sure he didn't get spies?
yeah,
Maybe he
I'm looking.
maybe he sent Nutka for start army. That's an extra
Yeah, but I'm looking at
20k.
coin total here right now, and at 20 minutes, Mongo did actually have about 15k more coin compared to Faraj. While basically at if I want to set 10 minutes, then
Maybe Farash forgot like I don't know the plantation upgrades. I'm not sure.
both the players have fairly same resources at 10 minutes, which is about 195k. But the thing here is that both have equal amount of food, but it shows that okay, so Faraj had 10k more coin or wood compared to Mungo. That's where the difference is.
Mm.
Faraj gathered 10k wood more compared to Mungo.
He used
Okay.
natives. I think he probably made more natives overall. Like I didn't check the numbers, but that's how it
Uh,
felt. But he didn't use them efficiently.
Yeah, and actually, I'm looking at this. So Faraj has more kills compared to Mungo, as well as he has nearly 10k more combat experience compared to Mungo. So, like this, we were saying, while Mungo had a huge advantage in economy, he was not using his units efficiently, and that is one of the prime reasons why this game was dragged on so long, I think.
Mm,
Because
for sure.
yeah, because Mongo has also spent a lot more on his units compared to Faraj. He has nearly spent 20k more on buildings as well compared to Faraj.
20. How much?
20k more on buildings.
Yeah, that's probably like I don't know 10 forts